I'll open the examples. Right. We started with ngFor. As I told you, ngFor is a repeater control, which is used to repeat the HTML elements based on the collection of information that we are having. And internally, ngFor is a directive which is using for off. And I told you like how we can work with that ngFor with a different example. That means I have taken a simple array. I have taken an array of JSON objects and then followed with I have taken what the JSON and internally an array, how we can process them. So different examples that what I have told you with respect to this particular one. Now in today's session, I will show you how we can display the data. Maybe let's do one thing. Just give me a minute. I will show you what happens. Nothing, Abhishek. It's just a question and answer, right? Session was done perfectly. Somebody is asking the question, but in between, it's around 10:24, I guess. The session was ended. Nothing. Okay. Right. I will show you. Let me open this one where you can have different APIs. Just give me a minute. So we have like, we always need okay. Let's say this is the API that what I'm having. I'm sharing you the details as well. I'm sharing you the API details to you. Now today's session, what we are going to plan here is, I'm going to connect with this particular API. Okay, I'm going to connect with this particular API and get the data. That is what my requirement. Understand? That is what my requirement. How we are going to do that and how we are going to connect with that particular one. That I'm going to get it and display the data. That is what my requirement. Okay. What is that extension to download for accessing this one? I am not getting your question, Prasad. I mean, you want to see like, how do we display the data? Something like this, right? This is what your question? Nothing is there, man. Just like, you can right click and go to the more tools. Okay. Otherwise, like go to the settings. And here, like you see, otherwise, like no need to do anything here. Just you can Google it. JSON viewer for Chrome. Okay, if you can go there and then click on here, then automatically it will show you. There you can just install it. Add to Chrome, so that automatically that will be added. Okay. Right. So the next one here, what I want to do is, now you can see we have some data here, different objects that are available. Now what I just want to do is, I'm going to display this particular data to the end user. That is what my requirement. I'm going to display this particular data to the end user. That is what my requirement. So how we can do that? I don't want to explain you directly HTTP client object here. Rather, to connect with the real-time APIs, there is a method that what we call it as a fetch method is available. Fetch in JavaScript. It's not like, the Angular method. It is a JavaScript. It's a pure JavaScript one. Now what fetch will do is, fetch method will start the processing of fetching a resource from the server. And fetch method returns a promise that resolves to a response object. So you don't need to think much about like what is the promises and how we can use it, all those things, because that part I'll explain you very soon. You don't need to think much of it. Just what you can do, we have a method that is the fetch method. What fetch method will do is a fetch API interface, which allows you web browser to make the HTTP request to the web server generally. Now I'm going to use this one. It's not that Angular feature, again I'm repeating. It's a feature of the JavaScript. Okay, it's a feature of JavaScript. Now, what I just want to do here is, let me create a component. So now in today's session, same ng for only, but I'm going to, because like most of the people, they're asking me the question, Srikanth, how to connect with that, because you prepared a raw data, but instead of that, how we are able to connect with that particular API and get the data. That is what the question most of the people they're asking. Vishal, I have given a question to you guys. If you can remember, what is API? Just read that once. What is HTTP request or what is JSON? All those things I ask you to go through it. But again, the same question you're asking me. An API is something like application programmable interface, where you can interface the data, whatever the data we are having. We just have to maintain that particular data with the help of an API. Now here you can see, this is an endpoint that we are having, where in this particular URL, generally URLs are nothing but that endpoint. In this particular endpoint, we have the data here, right? See that, this is the data or not? Tell me. Am I right? Hello, Vishal, are you able to follow me? Right? We have like lot of data, and this is what we call it as an API. That means in order to build this particular data, we write some source code, and that is what we call it as an API. But how it was implemented means it doesn't matter to me, because I'm an Angular developer, not the .NET developer, and not the Java developer, not the PHP, and not the Python developer. It doesn't matter to me. Everything is all what I need here is the data. If I am getting the data, and I can bind it. If I am getting the data, I can bind it. That is how it is going. Now I have the data here in this particular endpoint, but in order to prepare this data, what backend they are using, that I don't know. I don't have any idea on that. And even that is also not required to me. Understood? Now what I want to do, I'm going to use this particular API to fetch the data. For that reason, what I just want to do is, let me create a new component here. That means here in the directives demo, we have the tab, and here in this one, I'm going to generate, let me close everything first of all. Okay. Now the today's example is all about fetching the data from online API endpoints and display with ngFor. Displaying with ngFor. And how to interact with that in order to fetch the data. In order to fetch the data from the API endpoint. From the API endpoint, we use a method that is fetch method from JavaScript. As I told you, Angular, even though you have written the TypeScript, but internally it uses JavaScript only. That means the complete TypeScript is getting converted into the JavaScript, and it will work generally. Now, for that reason, what I'm trying to do, I used a method that is the fetch method. Now, how to work with the fetch method, you can see. Let's say I'll open this one. Fetch example. Okay, in JavaScript, I can say, if we can use like, let's say, fetch API, maybe you can open like anything. It doesn't matter. Now you can see fetch, we have the URL, then we are getting the data, and that data converting into the JSON. And after that, how you people wants to use the data, that you can use it. Understood here? See this. This is the one. That means here you have to supply the URL, and then it gives the response, and that response, whatever we are having, we are going to bind with something else. That is how it is going to. Now this is how you can see that. If we can execute this one, here we have the data again. See this. This is the data that we are having, and we are going to fetch that particular data. Understand? We are going to fetch that particular data. This is how it is going to. Now, this data can be prepared it in a way. That doesn't matter. Now, the same syntax, I'm going to use it even here also. Same syntax only I'm following. Observe that. Syntax is this one. Fetch, and then you can give the response, and then where you want to display the response, that you can decide. That is our requirement. Now, how we can do that? Let me go to here and go to the tab, right click, open within the integrated terminal, and there I can go with the command prompt and clear the screen. Now I'll be writing ng, G for generate, C for the component. Okay, and I'm going to use NASA component. Okay, NASA data I can use, and hyphen escape hyphen test I can say. Okay. Now I'm going to do like, the basic sanity. So I'll go to here and the app -NASA data. Let me go to my index.html, and where I can use app -NASA data and go to the module file. and where I can set it as going to be the startup NAS data component. Save this application. That's it. Now I'm going to run my application also. NGS -o -hyphen project is equal to. So what project we are going to use it here? What is the project here? It's a directives demo, so that I can use directives demo and then click on OK. Now you can see that is going to be executed. Just a minute. It is compiling and generating the bundle. Right, perfect. Now it's time for displaying the data. How we can display the data, that I will show you. So the very first thing what I can do is, and I'm going to prepare something like Mars object, and the type is going to be any is equal to, you can see this is what the data that we are trying to display, right? This is the data. Mars photos is the data that what I am trying to display. So that what I can do, I create some object and I'm going to write some method here, get Mars photos is the one that what I am creating. Now I'm going to get it. So how we can do that one, you can see we have a fetch method which is available and which is accepting, you see, an input request object info, or else you can give a URL as well. Now I have my URL which is available here. You can see that I just have shared with you as well. Maybe I can copy this and then giving it over there. That's it. Okay. And then you can see what I want to do. I'm going to get the response here, and that response I'm going to converting into the JSON object. Response dot JSON, I can say. Generally, JSON is a method, so that you can give like a method. And each and every time that JSON data that we are having, I'm going to assigning it to my object, so that you can see we have Mars object is available is equal to whatever the data that we are having, I'm going to get it. That's it. Fetch, and then what we are doing, URL, and then I'm going to convert the total response into JSON. Each and every time it will get one object data. That data I'm giving it to this object which is available in my local. Any questions here? Tell me. Any questions, guys? Any questions here until this? Then is the next process. After fetching the data, then what you want to do? Then what you want to do? First, I'm converting into the JSON, and then I'm going to get the data and assigning it to my local object. Then, understood? Next. Any questions here? Please let me know. Any questions? Right, tell me. Why do we need to converting into the JSON file? Because the front end application will accept the data only in the form of JSON. That is either Angular or React. So that if it gives the data in different format, then how you are going to handle it? Abhishek, right? That is the reason always you can convert that into the JSON. That is a good process. If we wanted to give another URL from where we can get it, that you can get it in Google Map. That you can get it in Google. Generally, this URL, you will be getting it from the server-side developers. Server-side people, they create that APIs and they are giving this URL. And you just use that URL and get the data. That is how it is going to. Yes, it's a method. Sudhamani, it's a method. See, I'm getting the response. Every time I'm getting the data, that data I'm applying to this particular local object. Then method is going to be, it's a kind of like, the promise. What it will do. See, in this particular endpoint, do we have only one object is available or like many objects? You can see that. How many objects are available here? You can see. This is one object. One object only. See there. You can see this is one object, right? And this is another object. And this is another object. You can see that. Like that you see, we have like n number of objects that are available. Each and every time, then what it will do, it will coordinate with one and get one and then assigning it to the local object that we are having. Understood? Second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, like that it is going to. That is where you can see. Attaches a callback for the resolution. For the resolution and or rejection of the promise. The callbacks to execute when promise is resolved. I will tell you about the promises and observables later. Yeah, this is an arrow function. You should have to learn from the JavaScript. I can't do anything. Yes, it is mandatory to provide then to fetch the data. Okay, right. Now you see, this is how it is going to be. Now what I just want to do, I wanted to fetch the data and then display the data. That is my requirement. So to do that one, I have the HTML here, and then I'm going to take a div here where I can give a class as going to be, let's say, container. And I'm going to use something like Mars photos, that what I can use. And I have a table where my table is having the table -hover I can give. But before that, I'm going to write a simple button here and where I can give btn and btn-info I'm using, and I'm going to use something like get Mars photos. Get the Mars photos I can use. And then what I just want to do, whenever I click on here, let me execute the function that I have defined. You can see that get Mars photos is the function. I'm going to call that particular function when user click on here. Okay, and then that data I want to display it here. So how we can do that one? Simply I have a table where the table will contain the class as going to be table hover, and then table head I can say, and then table row, and then table heading. That means what data you want to display, that you can display it over there. Now you can see I am using it as photo ID, and then I'm going to use something like the name of the camera, and I just want to display the image as well. So they are the things that what I want to display. And after that, maybe I can say, rover name or something. That's it. Okay. So this is how it is going to. Now I want to display this particular information. So tell me how we can use it. We'll be using the body here, and then we have the TR. Now tell me how we can do that one. How we can do that one? Now you can see the total data is available in this photos array, right? And in that array, you can see we have that ID and we have solve and we have camera. And at the same time, we have images RC, and in rover, we have some information. So this is how, like, that object structure is. Now, what I want to do when I'm iterating these photos, I'm able to get all the data here or not. Tell me first thing. Yes or no? Right? Yes or no, everyone? Very good. So first we are going to execute this one. So how I can do that one? Let me give for this particular TR, ng for is equal to let item of. Now where the data is available, you can see the data is available here. Don't give this one. Maybe what I can do is I'm giving it as an array. Let's see. Give it as an array. Now what I can do, I'll come back here and I am giving Mars object dot. Now what is the name we are having here? Exactly same name has to be given. Now here I can say Mars object dot photos I can give. Understand? That means here this is not a single data where we are fetching lot of data from there. So that is where I created it as going to be an array only. And from there, each and every time I'm getting one object. Okay, this is one object, second object, third object, fourth object, like that it is. From here, I'm going to display the data. So how I can do that one? It's a quite simple one. I'll go with the TD. Okay, first I wanted to get the ID. So that I'm using item dot ID, I can say. You can see here, item dot ID. Second one, I want to display the full name of my camera. So that item dot camera, in that we have the full name. So that what I can do, I'll go with another TD here. Item is available. Item is an object. In that object, we are having what? Camera. That is an object. In that camera, we have the full name so that I can copy and give it over there. That's it. Did you understand what I am doing? At the same time, I'll go with another TD and I want to display an image. So how to display an image? We will be using an image tag here where I can give src is equal to, where I can give an src is equal to, from where I can get it, you can see that item dot, directly we can give image src, so that I can say item dot image src, and we got very big images, so that let me give the width as going to be 100 pixel, and then following with the height as going to be, let me write 100 pixel around. That's it. And the next one is going to be name of the rower, so that I can go with another TD here, and there I can say the data. Now from where I can get the rower name, you can see that in photos, we have the object. Each object is an item dot rower, and in that we are having the name. So that's how I can access item dot. After that we are having what? You see, rower is an object dot. The third one is going to be the name, so that I can give the name over there. That's it. Clear now? Sorry. Item has to be given. Very good, very good. Very good, sir. Now you can see and I'm giving something like that. Now you can see the data that we are getting. When user click on get Mars photos, now you can see, am I able to get it or not? But it is taking some time, don't worry. But you see how much data it is going. Understood? This is how we are able to fetch the data and display the data. Is this clear or tell me? Any questions, guys, here? Any questions? Okay, it's you can call it as method or you can call it as function, anything. The only difference is function will return something, but method is not returning it. Syntactically, both are same. Sudhamani. Okay, here I am not returning anything, right? So that is where you can call it as method. Durgam Pavan, we will be understanding that, like, in RxJS, how to get only 3, how to get only 4, how to get the last one and the first one. That part I'll explain you like later. Okay. Okay. I will explain you one more time. Okay. Now you can see what I have done. My requirement is very clear. The client is giving me, Shrikant, this is the URL where you have the data, fetch the data and display within my HTML with the help of what? Angular. That is what the requirement. Now the very first thing what I can do, what are the possibilities to connect with that APIs and get the data? First you have to think. As I told you, Angular is having two different approaches. One is going to be, okay, one is going to be what? By using fetch method, and second one is going to be, you can go with what? You can go with what? The second one is going to be HTTP client, that is RxJS. Now what I want to do, I want to go with the fetch, which is the JavaScript method. Now what a fetch method? That means how the fetch method will work. Fetch method will fetch the data from that API. Okay. And then after getting the data, we don't know that like what type of response the API is giving it to us, right? Sometimes it gives the data in the form of an XML. Sometimes it gives the data in different formats. But Angular is able to bind the data only if there is a JSON. If there is no JSON data, then Angular will not do. That is the reason what I can do. Whatever the response I'm getting, I'm going to converting into the JSON format. First I'm getting the response and that I'll converting into the JSON formatted data. That is the first thing I have done. Second thing what I have done, whatever the data we are getting, each and every time we are getting like multiple objects, not even 1, 2, 3. We have, you can see here in this particular scenario, we have like many are available, right? You see that many are available. Now what I want to do, I just want to display them, okay, each and every time. So that what I can do, I'm going to get that and assign it to my local object. I created some Mars object and to that, whatever the data I'm getting, and I'm going to assign it to local. And from that local only, we are getting the data and displaying it here. Now, whatever the data is required, that you can decide and you can display. That's your wish. Understood? Okay. Now you can see I'm displaying something like this, but I have a requirement. The requirement is going to be, I just want to display same data. Okay. Same data, maybe by using, instead of displaying like a table, I want to display the data in a different format, maybe by using the card or whatever. So how we can do that? Do you know like Bootstrap cards? Anyone knows? You can see cards are going to be like this. We have an image and the image is following with some title and we have some description. If you want to display like this, then that is what generally we call it as a card, Bootstrap card. Okay. And I'm going to show you like how we can make use of it. I mean, so far like I displayed with the table, but now I want to display like a cards. How we can do that? Let me show you with an example. Now you can see further again the Bootstrap classes so that I can use div and the class is going to be flex is the class I am using. And also because like I just wanted to display them in a single line. That is what my requirement. And after that, I'll take a div. For this is basically a card and which comes with a class that is card. And I'm giving margin 3 and the padding 2 I can give, padding -2 I can give. And at the same time, let us give some style as well. Style is equal to, let's say, width is going to be some around 200 pixel I can give. Now you can see, I mean, if you don't know anything about that, you can just copy paste it. Not an issue. You can copy paste and you can display. You can see card and after that card image top, card body, card text. Now I'm going to use this one. Let's say I wanted to use this particular one so that I can come back here and here what I can do, I'll be using that image and src is equal to, from where I'm getting the data, tell me. How to iterate it, right? So that I can give ng for is equal to let item of where the data is available. Data is available here. You can see I'm assigning the data to the Mars object so that I can give the Mars object dot. We have what? Photos is available. Photos is available. Let's save it. You can see. You can see here Mars object dot photos. And here we wanted to get this image. So that how I can do that? It's a direct object so that I can give what? So that I can give what? Directly the data. You can see that. Item dot, you can see image src so that I can copy it and then giving it over. Understood? That means whatever you require, you can access it. That's it. It doesn't matter that you can access ID, you can access the name, or you can access something else. It's all depend on the requirement. Now after that, you can see I'm using div card header, I can say. In that I'm going to give the ID maybe. So that how can give it over there. Now you can say I want to get that ID. So that photos dot directly ID I can use. So that means item dot ID I can give. Understood now? Item dot ID I can give. And after that, let's have another div here. Let's have another div. And here I'm going to display the camera name. Maybe just assume that this div is going to be card body I can say. And here I'll be displaying some definition list. DT, camera name, where the camera name is available. You can see that in photos we have that object. In that camera is another object. In that we have the full name. So that what I can do, I'm going to use, tell me, item dot, item dot, in this item, camera is another object. So that I can go with camera dot. Now full name is available. So that I can say full underscore name I can give. That's it. And after that, I'll use the DT. Maybe let's say rover name I want to display. Okay, camera name and then rover name I want to display. So that how I can do that one? You can just come back here. Where the rover here? That means item dot rover. In that I want to display the name. That's it. So that what I can do? Item dot. Okay, rover dot. We have name is available. I can display that. Now save this application and now you can see how it is going to be. Right. Now you can just verify that how the data is going. When user click on get Mars photos, now you see. See them. But you see, rover name we are not getting. Why we are not getting the rover name? Verify. Verify it again. See that. I missed one thing. Save it. And then you can see when user click on this button, there you can see. You can see rover name curiosity. And we are able to see all the data. Okay, na? I guess last session someone asked me about this, how to connect with the real world APIs. This is one approach, but still we have another approach that will be discussed later. Now you can ask me any questions if you have. Sir, item. Yes, Prakash, tell me. What is the question? See, each and every object is an item, right? Each and every object is an item, basically. Every object is an item. In that item, we have what? Rover. In that rover, we have name. Understood? Prakash. Ashish Sahu, we have a separate session for that. Please learn. I mean, you can try your own, but definitely I'll explain you later. Next. Next. Any questions, guys, please? Lambda expression Mahendra Reddy, that is a JavaScript. That is JavaScript. Lambda expression, or else arrow function. That is pure JavaScript. Learn from there. Endpoint is nothing but a URL. When user hit that, then it gives you some data, right? That is what we call it as endpoint. That means the request will end over there and give the response. The request will end over there and gives the response. That is how it is going. Okay. Next. No, Abhishek, I don't have that much time today to share the screens and all. Weekdays, it is not possible, only over the weekend. But even in that also, we have around 500 plus members. It's very difficult for us. So do one thing. You may plan a session like, come to the lab. Come to the lab so that there you can get more clarity. Very good. Now for you, a small assignment here I can give you. The assignment is going to be, now you can see when user click on get data, I'm able to get the data and display the data to the user. Okay. I'm able to display the data to the user. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. What I have done here, one time I display the data with the help of a table. Another time I display the data with the help of the cards that what I am having here. Now what you can do is add another button here with the name preview. We have already done that kind of example, if then else, right? Now create a separate button here and just convert that. I mean, if it is a table, then display like a card. When user click on it, then it will be a card. If it is going to be, let's say, a card, then it will become as going to be the table. Did you understand? Switching the data. Switching the data. I don't have the power. It's okay. But anyhow, it's Monday and Tuesday, as you know. I'm leaving a bit early. Okay. So switch the data in between that. I will upload like this example to you. A simple task that what I am giving it to is just you can have a button here, and whenever user click on that, suppose if user click on the table, then the table will become as a card and display the data. When user click on the card, then it will become as a table and display the data in the form of table. A simple task I am giving. So try to complete this particular task by everyone. Again, for all the sake, I'm explaining one more time. Okay. Abhishek, add the forms module. Yeah, okay. Now you can see what I have done here. App.module.ts, Abhishek. You can add it over there. You can see here, you can add the forms module. Just add the forms module like this. Okay. Abhishek, for you. And Shashi Prakash. Now you can see what I have done. My requirement is connected with that, so that I used a fetch method. I created a separate